Is Tamra's return to this season of Real Housewives of Orange County going to be enough to revive the franchise? I know I will watch out of pure curiosity to see what happens because she's feuding with basically everyone on the cast going in, at least. But I don't want to get my hopes up, you know? That's very Bravo to believe the hype. You know what I mean? But anyway, we get all the way into basically everything Orange County. We touch on all the things Orange County in this week's bonus episode. So stick around for that. But if you are new here, hello, welcome to She Speaks Bravo. This is where we talk about all things Bravo and sometimes a little true crime. And if that's what you're into, then subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. And today I'm joined by Jami Rice. She is the host of the podcast Murderish and also Dirty Money Moves. And she's awesome. I love her. So stick around. And if you are already subscribed, love you, mean it. All right, guys, enjoy. My name is Emily, and I have been watching Bravo TV as a form of self-care for over a decade. Needless to say, I'm a complete mess. Subscribe and follow along for painfully insightful recaps about Bravo, true crime, and other great TV. Hit that bell. I'm so happy to have Jami here on my podcast this time.
I am really happy to be here on your podcast this time. I couldn't wait for this.
I'm so excited. So I have been on Dirty Money Moves twice now. And originally I was going to have you do a Salt Lake City recap with me. But both times I've been on your podcast, we couldn't stop talking about literally every Bravo topic under the sun.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
I said that's going to end up happening when we're trying to recap Salt Lake City. So let's scratch the format and just talk random topics. But I do want to make sure, and we're going to start first with this because I really haven't talked about this at all. I've realized on the pod at all. And I know that we're going to have a lot to say. Orange County.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot going on in Orange County.
Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to go through the cast and get like where you stand on the cast, just so that I know where we stand on the
I would
cast.
love that. Oh, and I cannot wait to hear where you stand.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start light.
Okay.
Because these are like the characters I'm not too concerned with. Okay. So Emily.
Gorgeous to look at. I can't get enough of looking at her. She's so beautiful.
She is, isn't she?
Don't need her on the show.
Perfect answer.
Okay.
Perfect answer.
Cool.
Love that. Gina.
Love to look at her. I think her accent's cute. Don't need her on the show.
Don't need her on the show.
Don't need her on the show.
I feel like she can't, I'm surprised she's still there.
I really am. And it's like, I know she gets such a bad rap with her, like, tiny apartment or whatever it is. And like, she doesn't have a lot of money and stuff. And I've never understood why she was there. Now, that's not to say that somebody who's confusing at first as to like why they're there can't become a star.
Totally.
I totally believe like everybody will have a chance and you don't have to have gobs of money to be on the show. I truly believe, but if you're entertaining, you're a star, you'd create a little controversy and you can back it up, girl, stay on the show. But like Gina is not those things. She just...
And last season, I stopped midway because I could not handle Noella. Like I had, like, she just got under my skin so much. But Gina was starting to disappoint me because Gina, I was like, oh, does she think she's more than she is?
Okay. And now I have a confession. I did not watch last season. I was
Good
on
for
pause.
you.
Yes, I was on pause with the Housewives, but especially OC. And the reports I was getting was like, girl, you're not missing anything.
You're not missing. You didn't. I stopped halfway. I was like, and that says a lot. That says even more than not watching at all.
Yeah, exactly. Because you tried and you were like, no, I didn't sign up for this. Didn't sign up for this.
I didn't even need to see how it concluded.
No, exactly. Oh, you missed I heard Twitter was ablaze about this ending song. They were in a garage band together. I don't know what the situation was, but I heard it was all kinds of bad.
Didn't even see it.
All kinds of bad. Okay, me either. So Noella, I only know her on social media, what people say about her. And I do see that she is sort of like a polarizing character. But I could see that it wasn't going to last.
I think what made me so annoyed by her is that she seemed like she had been watching Housewives for so long.
Yes.
And she had created a persona that would be, quote, good TV.
Oh, did you just say Lisa Rinna? Excuse me.
Right.
Excuse me. I will go there, but yeah, Lisa Rinna is just like literally acting like this is the best soap opera, act of her life. And she's way too calculated, but that's who came to mind when you said that. And I totally get that. I think some housewives, I love how they all like to say, oh no, I never really watched the show yet.
I hate when they say that.
Girl, stop. You knew all about it. And if you didn't, you deep dived it before you got on the show. And then they try too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes off as fake and forced, and we don't need that. I don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's get a little trickier now. Heather.
Hate.
Okay.
One of my top 5 most hated housewives.
Can you elaborate?
Yes, I absolutely can. Number 1, I think she has, and I'm gonna put it all out there. I'm very opinionated on these housewives.
I love it.
She has a stick up her ass that's never been pulled out. It's not entertaining to watch. She's not funny. She doesn't, you're not able to make her laugh in a real way. She's always way too calculated with her goddamn manners. I don't need her manners. I don't need any of that. I could give 2 shits about what kind of ice she has in her damn house. I don't find that interesting. She might get a reprieve if she was somebody who had this like banging acting career and she was a boss that way, or she had this banging business and she was, a boss that way. But I mean, I don't know. And I hate to pull this card, but like you're a woman who married into money and you're a mom, like all of us, many of us.
Ooh.
What else is there? And your fashion isn't what I need to see on my screen. It's not even fashion. Sorry.
I live for this shameless shade. I'm living for this.
I was upset when she came back and I knew she couldn't carry the show.
And that was their biggest mistake, is relying solely on Heather. And I knew, like, I was surprised that they got rid of Tamra and brought back only Heather. I'm like, Heather only worked with someone like a Tamra or a Vicki who was going to try to shake her up and make her less stick up the ass.
Yes. Like and I think you're exactly right. Now, I would never want to see Vicki on my TV screen again.
I'm right there with you. And I know that people want her back so bad. I'm like, what?
No, don't need it. Tamra, fine. Tamra, great. She makes for great TV. That girl is shady as fuck. And sometimes she's not the best friend. And sometimes she is a little self-absorbed and asshole. Like, cool. But she does make for good TV, and she's raw. She gives us her whole life. And I appreciate that. And that is not easy to do. She doesn't come off as she's holding back and trying to make people think my life is perfect. I've got, hashtag goals. No, she really does put it all out there. As messy as her life has gotten, and Heather Dubrow, Fancy Pants, would never give us that. That girl will never give us what is really going on behind closed doors. Not going to happen.
And that is why she needs a Tamra next to her to keep extracting what they can out of Heather, whether it makes her uncomfortable or not. But to have Heather be the boss, basically, of the show, that's not a good dynamic. And no, I'm so glad that that's your take on Tamra. So I had no idea that there was even this whole Bravo community up until 2020. So I didn't know that there was even a pulse on Tamra. I thought everyone liked Tamra.
Okay.
I had no idea Tamra was a problematic favorite until I got involved with my Bravo account, and I posted how much I loved Tamra, and I got nothing but negative comments on my post. And I was like, oh wait, Tamra's. Then I realized, and I fully understood the comments people were writing were like, then, she threw her friend under the bus when they were in Mexico, and she left Vicki, and then she left Gretchen. And I was like, oh, wait, she did do all those things. I realize now that 100% Tamra has absolutely been a trash friend on multiple occasions.
Sure.
But why has it not bothered me? And I think it's because it's made for good TV. And I haven't realized all of these years watching Housewives that I have liked problematic favorites.
Yes. Listen, I'm right there with you. And I think that the reason why Tamra doesn't really bother me is that at least she comes off as authentic. Like she's an asshole sometimes. She's not a good friend sometimes. She stirs the pot and she's a hypocrite sometimes. And she just got, but she's fun to watch. She's authentic. That's who she is. And I believe that we get pretty much all of her, as much. She gives more than so many other housewives are willing to give. And I give her authenticity. She gets coins. She gets tokens for authenticity. Whereas like a Heather Dubrow, and not only that, like Heather, because that's my opinion. Shut up, Jesus Jugs. Like she has given us some really good sound bites, like really good shit. She's very fiery, which I can relate to. I think that I kind of like Tamra too, because I can relate to her on some level. Not to mention in some of the groups I belong to, they're like, oh my God, you're a Tamra lookalike. They say we look alike, which is,
I could see that.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'll take it.
I think Tamra is hot. Tamra's one of my hottest housewives.
She's super hot.
I
Her
love
bone
a little
structure.
blonde. I love a blonde spinner. I really do.
She's the blonde spinner.
I love them.
Love that. Okay, I'm going to use that. But at least she's authentic. She's fiery. Heather Dubrow, she's none of those things. She's not funny. She's not fun. She's not fiery. She's calculated. Snooze fest. Manners. Too many manners. Every statement she makes is just so PR approved. I can't.
I have to give her some credit though. She had a good, when she was giving it to Alexis, that one reunion, it was pretty impressive.
Okay.
When everybody says you're dead, it's time to lie down was a good read.
Okay. I like that. And I will give bonus points for a good read to it. That is one of my, if you were to go to my Housewives Academy, which I have not started selling online yet. It's going to be like a She by Sheree thing. It's never going to happen. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. The site will, and she bragged about that, which is great.
She's like, how many people can say their website crashed? I'm like,
honey,
that's not a flex.
It's not a flex, but thank you. Cause Sheree is my girl. I love her.
No, Sheree will be forever like that person that continues to embarrass herself, but thinks it's a plus, a pro. Put that in the pro column. It's like, it's a con, but it's okay.
But it's okay. But I will always love my boo, Sheree. And I will never check her boo. She cannot be checked.
No.
But no, I mean, a good read. Yeah, that is one thing that a housewife needs to have. It is so disappointing, like a Bronwyn season 1, when they just like went after her at the top of that double-decker bus or whatever it was. And she just crumbled. She cried and crumbled up into a little ball. And I had empathy for her in that moment because I thought it was like a total pile on and it was bullshit. But like, I just want to jump through the screen, shake her up a little bit and go, girl, use your words and read these bitches like nobody has ever done before. But that's a great housewife who can do that. Not all of them can. Tamra can. Eva from Atlanta can. Kenya's an asshole, but she does.
Kenya, gotta give her props for that.
Yeah, does a good read. Love that.
So I will give Heather, I think my friend Andrea had said it perfectly. She's like, I'm so perplexed by Heather because my friend Andrea had not watched all of Orange County. And so I told her to start, because it's overwhelming. I get that. Like if you haven't watched all of Orange County, it's like, do I go back to one? I'm like, I get why you don't want to do that. So I told her to start, I think when Heather joined the show.
Okay.
So that she could, because it's kind of shifted the whole thing, so then you could sort of catch up. And I was like, you have to watch Cancergate. You have to watch that season. It's like
legendary.
It's a legendary season. And so when she messaged me one time saying, I'm so conflicted with Heather because I cannot tell if this is an act or if she at her core is this person. And I can't tell if it's good or bad either way.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is at her core. I think there's some authenticity to her boringness, and her PR
Because remember
approved.
her mom, didn't we meet her mom one season?
We may have. I may have taken a quick nap during that scene. I
I
don't
feel like we
know.
did meet her mom,
Yeah.
and it was like her mom was, it was like, oh, this is telling.
What was telling? What was her
Her
mom?
mom was like even more uptight. And I might be
Okay,
making this up, or she
gotcha.
may have just described her mom.
I
And it
see.
was like, oh,
That makes sense. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
well, her
That would
mom
make
was
sense.
even more particular and even more like when they went out. I want to say they went out to eat, or she might have just been describing it, but it was,
Okay. Well, and then you meet Tamra's mom. If we're talking moms, like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Her mom's a little fiery, a little, her mom seems to be a little emotionally unavailable.
yeah.
I believe Tamara's a bit emotionally unavailable.
Mhm.
She's not like going to be the best shoulder to cry on. She's not that housewife. But yeah, interesting. Oh my gosh,
She's
but
not.
she's just not that housewife.
She's not. It's funny the amount of times that like someone's had an emotion, like when, don't get me wrong, I didn't like Lydia at all, but when
No.
Lydia was
Oh,
upset that she was left off like a group chat or something, and
yeah.
Tamara just would not give it to her. She's like, you're upset about a group chat? Sorry.
Girl,
Like just
get
real,
over it.
just didn't have an ounce of compassion in that moment whatsoever.
And that was so on brand. That's so Tamra.
Yeah. And the problem is because I didn't like Lydia, I was like, yeah, Tamara, just tell her. Like my toxic traits come out.
Yeah.
And that I think is why I was like, yeah, I'm on team Tamara. And then when I found out that Tamara was problematic, I was like, oh, I'm
Hold on.
problematic.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're all a little problematic in our own right. Look, there is no I always like my butt cheeks clench together when I think about like, holy shit, if I was on the Housewives,
Oh God.
it just having to be so damn vulnerable and real. I
Oh
don't,
yeah.
I don't know how I would come out.
I have to acknowledge that like when, when I'm watching a show, when I'm watching these shows and I like, I'm like, I actually am on this person's side. And then I get feedback like, how could you be on that person's side? They did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, oh shit, they did. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
That means, okay, I have to talk to my therapist about this.
Yeah, because you're endorsing a problematic housewife, and then
Mhm.
somebody else gives you the other side, and you're like, oh, hold
I'm
on.
like, okay, I see your point.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I'm
Okay.
slightly problematic. Cool.
I get it. I get what you're saying now. Okay, let's move on to Shannon.
Oh, okay. I have been on a roller coaster ride journey with this woman.
Me too.
Yeah, like in the beginning, didn't like her. She was
At
super
all.
uptight, not at all, super uptight, and came off as like bitchy and like, come on, like loosen up a little bit. Now I understand, like she was in a real shitty marriage, probably a very dysfunctional marriage. Probably a narcissistic husband situation. He seems like a real peach, David Beador, and not in a good way. But so she was going through a lot. So then, okay, then the seasons progress. Shannon I overall don't love Shannon, but I do think that Shannon is mostly authentically herself, which isn't always great. She's a bit problematic as well. She's highly, highly, highly emotional, sensitive, and expects way too much from people, I believe. She's a little annoying sometimes.
Nailing it.
Yeah, so I am all over the place with her. If she were to leave tomorrow, I'd be cool.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, okay.
Yeah. Tell me,
let me
please tell
warm
me.
up here first.
Yeah. Yeah. Shannon's a lot.
Shannon. Okay. Shannon first came on the show, and as soon as like I caught a glimpse of Shannon, I was like, oh, I get. The producers were like, ka-ching, like this chick is reality TV gold. She's going to give us every single detail of her marriage, even when we probably shouldn't get it. Like they were like, oh my God, she didn't need to say that. So I understood immediately why she got cast.
Yes.
And she got along with Vicki. So boom, I get it.
Money, she had money, all this stuff.
All of it, I got it. But immediately I was like, this woman is beyond annoying. She's a perpetual victim.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry you feel that way is her favorite way of apologizing, which
Yes.
is one of my biggest
Terrible
pet
apology. It's not
peeves.
apology. It's not an
It's
apology.
not. You
Nope.
can't apologize for the way someone feels. What the fuck
No,
are you
absolutely.
apologizing for?
Dude, I'm so with you on that.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, bitch.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And she, like, when she went over to Heather's, and I know Heather got in trouble for being like, please leave. It was the weirdest thing that Shannon went over to Heather's to be like, you were talking about my marriage.
Yeah.
And Heather was like, not really. Like, I don't know what you're doing over here. And Shannon was absolutely the victim all the time.
Yes,
And
perpetual victim for sure.
I can't tell if it was the editing or if the audience is just not really great at like seeing through things, but everyone really was like, for the most part, the audience was like, poor Shannon, we feel so bad for Shannon. And I was like, what are we not seeing here, people? And so then David and her, when they get divorced, it took it to another level.
Sure did.
I was an active like hater of Shannon. Like I was loving it because my friend that was watching Orange County for the first time was equally in hatred of Shannon. So I would wake up because she's 3 hours ahead of me. I would wake up to these like, I hate Shannon. Shannon is the worst. And I was like, yes,
She sure is.
But then this last season, listen, Jamie, let me tell you
tell me
something right
tell
now.
me, because I didn't watch, so I need to hear it.
Part of the reason why I had to stop watching is because I started to side with Shannon.
Oh.
And I was like, I cannot have this. I thought this was the takedown Shannon season, but they did it so bad. Emily and Gina and Heather did it so bad that I was like, y'all didn't do this right. I'm on Shannon's side.
Wow, that is very telling. That makes me want to go back and watch some of it a little bit just to see that part.
If all you need to do is maybe watch the first like 4 episodes, I want to say, and they get mad at Shannon and you're like, am I adding this up right? It sounds like Gina's the one who did something wrong here. It didn't really make sense.
Okay.
And Shannon, and then Heather does this thing where she could like sits Shannon down.
Oh no,
like
can't.
And it's so high and mighty. And Shannon, where she like does the staring, and she's like, I feel like she might have said, I'm sorry you feel that way, but she also does actually apologize. And then Heather goes, I'm gonna go get Terry so you can apologize to Terry.
Oh,
and
honey,
make Shannon sit there on camera while she goes and gets Terry.
And that's exactly when I would have exited the fucking mansion. I would have been like, bitch, there is one apology coming out of my mouth, and you are not going to sit me down like a school teacher and go, and you will apologize to Dr. Dubrow.
Very much that. Very school teacher. Very that. So I have gone like I've come full circle on Shannon, where now I can look back on those years that I absolutely hated her and be like, she's given us great TV.
She has. She really, really has.
She's given us so many explosions, so many crazy moments that I'm like, all right, look, I do appreciate Shannon now. So I'm excited to see Tamra and Shannon fix the huge feud that they had. Because I respect that Tamra was so public about how much she hated Shannon.
Oh my God. She cannot help herself.
I loved it. This is why we love Tamra, because she's like, look, I'm a public persona. I will tweet about it. I will go in the press about it.
Yeah.
I will be on my social media. I'll talk about it on my podcast. She talked about it everywhere. So as soon as she started filming, they had a sit down and, they talked about it, because Tamra is one of the most forgiving people in the world.
Excuse me. She has forgiven Vicki 20 billion gajillion times when nobody should forgive Vicki for her assholery. I am sorry
for putting it that way, because Vicki's
she's the victim
that are on Vicki. They're going to be like, Vicki also forgave Tamara. And I'm like,
honey,
okay.
Vicki, but Vicki's a monster. She is legitimately a fucking monster. The worst friend, the worst person. I can't. And she is always the victim. When she gets all, she really grates me.
I have to say something for my listeners and my viewers. I'm enjoying so thoroughly that I get to be in a happy place here with someone who agrees with all of my innermost thoughts. I'm sure there are people out there who love Vicki being like, I love Vicki and I hate Tamara. And I'm very sorry for you because I don't get to ever speak with someone this freely about how much I don't like Vicki. And I love Tamra. So you know what? I'm going to go for it, guys. I'm not going to put any disclaimers anymore. I'm just
let that hair down, girl.
Here.
Let that hair down. This is a no judgment zone.
I am right there with you.
Yes.
Vicki was not a Vicki faked. Vicki knew Brooks didn't have cancer.
100%.
Vicki knew that. Okay.
100%.
Then Vicki went and was disgusting about the whole Eddie being gay rumors.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
She wouldn't let it go either, over and over. I don't know if Eddie's gay. I don't know.
She always, that pisses me off. She literally, but I don't, but how do I know? Honey, you said it. You said it. You said it. Now back it up and own it. Back it up and own it. Like she just is the worst person to watch. She triggers me, and I'm sorry I'm using the word trigger. She triggers me too. But dude, she triggers me so fucking badly. And I could never be anything close to a friend to Vicki. I think she is incapable of being a solid friend to anybody. She is, I have so many things to say about Vicki, and I am so glad that I am that safe space for you, girl.
Yes.
I am so glad that you are just letting the opinions out, letting it fly. Be yourself. Vicki's horrible. And if you think otherwise, you're on the wrong side of history.
Because look, has Vicki, prior to Cancergate, Vicki was decent TV, but Brooks came along and changed her.
She was
cringy. As soon as Brooks came in, a whole, like, you watch it slowly happening. Because like she had to totally readjust her entire life.
Yes.
To accommodate Brooks, because Brianna, she corrected Andy one year. Brianna didn't like him. So Vicki had to like have two separate lives to make everyone like Brooks. Tamra didn't like Brooks. No one really liked him.
Nobody.
Heather tried to like him, but Brooks was a con artist and was conning her.
For sure.
And you could see that he was abusing her mentally and emotionally. And then of course there were, allegations that it was physical as well.
Sure.
But then the Cancergate happens.
Thank you, Megan King Edmonds, for busting that wide open.
Yeah.
And it was deplorable. Like, I don't understand how Vicki did not get canceled. And I don't subscribe to cancel culture, but there are certain people where I'm just like, well, cancel.
Is it not crazy that she didn't get canceled from that?
I absolutely cannot believe that she fucked around with cancer that was fake. She was totally in on it, and she supported it, and then she just was back on the show. I don't understand.
Here's my theory of what happened with Cancergate. So I maybe have spoken about it here before, but my theory is I don't think Brooks respected Vicki enough to be like, hey, I'm going to fake cancer. And he was like, I have cancer. And she was like, sure. Yeah, you do. Perfect. Now we're going to get sympathy and people are going to leave us alone.
Yes.
And even though it was pretty obvious he didn't have it, she chose to blindly go with it.
Yes.
And then when all the questions happened, she's like, stop asking questions, because then I have to ask him those questions. And then it's going to be obvious. She knew he didn't have it.
Yes.
Right? Because
but it wasn't some evil.
Yes.
And I agree with you. Your point is well taken on me. Like, he didn't respect her enough to go, okay, listen, now we are going to do this. This is going to work. Here's how we're going to pull it off. You act out this scene. I act out. It didn't happen that way. He told her he had cancer. It didn't make sense. Vicki's not stupid. After all, she's a very successful businesswoman, as she will tell you. Yes. If you don't know, ask her. So she knew. She knew it didn't make sense, but she didn't ask any questions. She covered her eyes, covered her ears. Cool. I'm just going to roll with it, because in her mind, it would work out well for her, because now nobody can come after somebody who has a loved one who has cancer.
Exactly.
How dare you?
She expected that Jello or casserole or whatever the hell. Casserole. Yeah.
Casserole.
That's what she expected. Mm-hmm. So she went along with it. So so she so she comes back after that season like a different person.
Yeah.
Her face was different, her eyes were different, like her whole demeanor was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was never the same after that.
Mm-mm.
And so that Vicki scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, the second Vicki.
The second Vicki
Yeah.
Vicki 2.0 was
Yeah,
it was like a robot that came back, and she would get a growl in her voice whenever it would
did.
get brought up. Like even that year at the reunion, she like smacked the chair and was like, or the couch and was like, stop talking about him to Andy. And she was scary. So the fact that she kept going, and then she went on the offense. She didn't go on the defense, or even like the I'm so sorry, you guys. I was conned by this man. I'm really sorry.
Mhm.
Instead, she was like, I can't believe you guys
Yes,
turned on me. I'm like, wow, that's the angle you're taking.
it's gross. It's absolutely gross. And it just tells you exactly who she is. She has now listen, Maya Angelou, she has shown you who she is. You better believe her.
So I just don't understand how she lasted this long and still, because if she had come back sad and sorry, it'd be one thing, but instead she was mad at everyone.
How dare you? How dare you say this about me? But see, that's a very, we've seen that play out so many times with like these selfish, self-absorbed people who are just there. They turn it back on you when it's like, no,
Yes.
the whole world's looking at you and it's obvious we have an issue with what you just did. I mean, it's what you did was not cool, but she's like, how dare you accuse me of that? Or like when somebody who's clearly lying and they're like, like Erica, sorry, let's jumping around here. Erica Jane, honey, her saying, you know, like, how dare you call me a liar? Like it's the worst thing in the world. It's like, but you're very clearly lying.
Oh yeah, right.
Lying.
You're right. That is very much a tactic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tactic that
the worst thing you can call someone is a liar. It's like, or the worst thing you can do is lie about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, look, I'm going to call a liar a liar. It's like you're lying to me. It's not. And that's what I love Garcelle for. And I know I'm jumping around, but Garcelle will just be like, yeah, no, I didn't believe you. Yeah, no, I still don't. Yeah, I still think there's something there. Like, I still think, yeah, I don't really believe you. Like she's so, Garcelle cannot tell a lie. Right. Garcelle is so honest. I mean, she just readily admitted at the reunion, like, yeah, no, I did think that Diana was behind this thing with my son.
The fact that she can say that right to someone's face.
That's
like, girl, I don't know how you do that, but it is. She said, when she said it to Erica at Lisa Rinna's wine tasting,
loved it.
Erica goes, I just feel like maybe you don't necessarily believe everything that I was saying last season. And she's
I don't.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, it's great.
You're right about that.
And no other housewife will do that with Erica. Nobody will tell her that to her face. And I just have so much respect for Garcelle for saying that. Oh, I love her.
Love her. Moment for Garcelle. Okay, so wait, we've got who am I missing? Okay. Taylor is coming on. She is our first franchise jumper.
Okay.
And she is coming on as a friend. And all right. So you watched Ultimate Girls Trip 2? Or no?
Don't shoot me. I've watched 0 Ultimate Girls Trips. I learn about them I know about them on social media. I know all the characters, so I can definitely discuss it with you. But tell me, give me some context.
Only just wondering if you know anything about like current Taylor, not
I
based
don't.
on. Okay, don't.
And
okay,
that's
cool.
why I'm really excited to see her. So my answer to that will be, I am here for Taylor being a friend of. I'd like to see, because I want to know what is going on since that. I mean, that was arguably the most dramatic and scandalous thing to hit the Housewives franchise when her husband, the whole thing, devastating, shocking. So, and she went through it. We saw her crumble on camera, and it was so sad. It was interesting, but it was hard to watch. So since I don't know much about current Taylor, that's one of the reasons I'm really excited to see her return. I need an update, but I also think she might give us some good TV moments.
Yes. Well, so remember when she, even on Beverly Hills, remember when she like she left and then she came back, you know,
Mhm.
remember when she was like messy as hell at that tea party at LVP's
Yes.
with like, because it was the season where Adrian and Brandy were feuding.
Yeah.
And Taylor was still mad at Adrian from, you know, like, so Taylor was drinking too much and she wasn't necessarily recovering very well. Then outside of Bravo, Taylor did like
She
one
did
of
a
those
show like
VH1 shows,
yes.
like a celebrity couples retreat type of
Right.
shows with her. I don't know if it's the current guy.
Couples therapy or something.
And it was real dramatic
Yeah.
and real messy. And so Taylor's definitely been a character outside of the show that's, you know, struggled a bit, which is to be expected. She
Sure.
went through a lot. She was a lot prior to Russell, and then she was going to be a lot after that. It's not
Sure.
like you're not going to come out of that unscathed, right?
No.
So on Ultimate Girls Trip, she was still very mad at Brandy.
Mm.
Because okay, I fell in the place of I was still pretty pissed at Brandy because I would have thought after all these years, Brandy would have realized just how wrong she was in the way she handled that very sensitive situation.
Mhm.
Because if you remember correctly, Brandy was like, I believe Russell. I'm sorry. Russell's not here to defend himself.
Don't like it.
It was
Don't
really,
love it.
It was very much like early 2000s energy, you know, where we like didn't
not
properly,
believing women and
and Andy, I mean, Andy still is problematic in the way he handles those things, but
Mhm.
like no one had sensitivity training to how to deal with a very, very sensitive topic. And it was wrong.
Yeah.
And so the way Brandy handles it on Ultimate Girls Trip is by being like, I was just a friend of, I didn't know what was going on. And it was like, I was the victim, basically.
Oh no, Brandy, don't do that.
Thankfully, the whole cast was like, no, Brandy, she was the victim.
Yes.
You owe her a big apology.
Yes.
To this day, I really don't know if they did. Like if Brandy did ever come correct. I started to recap Ultimate Girls Trip too, but like the recap was like a hate recap. And I literally, because I don't like Dorinda because when she gets drunk and mean, I have a really hard time. Yeah, it is, talk about triggered. So I prefaced the start of the recap with, okay, guys, I said I would recap this, but I'm not enjoying this. So I'm going to do one recap and then I'm going to let you guys let me know if you want me to keep going because I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I actually got people being like, please keep recapping. This was hilarious. I also hate Dorinda. But then I was like, for my mental health, I'm going to stop because it was just too much. It was so much. So Brandy pissed me off. Dorinda pissed me off. I did keep watching. Taylor ended up kind of coming out of that. As much as I thought I was going to hate Brandy, Taylor ended up kind of being strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like sort of trying to create TV moments.
Don't love it.
Yeah. So like, I'm curious to see what she's going to do on Orange County because she obviously is going to want an orange full time.
Yes.
And the fact that she even still after being friend of didn't get that orange because, you know, they can bump you up.
Sure.
I'm very interested to see if she's going to be doing the most because she knows Tamra.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she knows anyone else on the cast. She may know Heather. So I'm wondering if she's going to try to bring a lot of drama and be doing a lot because a lot of the cast of Ultimate Girls Trip had that feedback. Like, Taylor was a lot. Like Taylor was the most self-produced. Feedback they got.
And maybe she felt like all this pressure because she's like, oh my God, this is my second shot to be back in the, you know, Bravo universe and I am going to bring it. But then it just falls flat because it's like, no, we're such professional Bravo watchers that we can see exactly what you're doing. You just have to be as natural as possible and let it ride. What I don't recall from my time watching Taylor, what I do recall is like her just losing her shit slow. Like we're watching her like lose weight and just she was going through a lot mentally, understandably so, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember her ever being that housewife that could carry anything or be a leader or like really add to the dialogue. So I can understand her being a friend of, and I'm
Me
here for
too.
that. Here for
Yeah.
that. Don't know if she will ever earn that orange. Or wait, is she going
Right?
to, she's going to orange? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know that she'll earn that back, because had it not been for her disastrous downfall, unfortunate downfall, like I don't know if Taylor would even be remembered very well. I don't know. Right.
I agree.
I don't know. The only thing I remember about her is the $50,000 birthday party for her little 5-year-old daughter. And I was like, oh, too much, you
Oh
know,
my
and
God,
obviously,
remember that weird song that she had that American Idol guy sing for her?
oh my God, I don't remember. Please remind me.
It was like
Ugh.
sexual.
Ooh, at her daughter's birthday party?
Yeah, it was like
Oh.
a song by I can't remember who it was. I'm so sorry. I should remember, but the song was like, "It's your
Oh,
birthday."
Clay Aiken. Clay
No,
Aiken.
it wasn't Clay. No,
Okay.
it was a guy that was not gay at all. It was kind of like
Oh.
a sexy guy. And it was
Oh.
very uncomfortable. It was
So
like,
cringy.
no, that actually wasn't that party. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was the party the next year. I beg your pardon. I beg your
Got it.
pardon.
Got it.
It was party the following year because
Okay.
Brandy was there and Brandy was like, "This is weird."
Yeah. And Brandy, that's one thing about Brandy. She'll say whatever the hell's on her mind, whether it's appropriate or not. But
Right?
love how Brandy entered into the scene with Beverly Hills Women, and her sons just went and pissed in the backyard.
Yep.
And listen, I could relate to that because my son grew at the time. I was like, listen, it's not that I want my son to go drop his pants and pee in somebody's backyard at a barbecue. That's really for our own house. But it's convenient. Like we grew up like if we're swimming in a pool and like the bathroom's all the way in the house. I don't want you to drip water on the floors. Yeah, go pee in the bush. That's just what you do. So at first I was like, I love Brandy because this is very relatable. Very relatable. And she's like, whatever. But then of course she got all kinds of messy, and Brandy's very polarizing.
Brandy got lucky because LVP took her under her wing.
She did.
And like LVP was like, no, we like Brandy. So the audience was like, yeah, we like Brandy. But then when Brandy turned on LVP, she was fucked.
She was fucked, and she literally like slapped her in the face, which was whoa.
Big mistake.
Whoa.
Huge.
Big mistake.
Well, okay. So we had the rumor about Heather or Terry cheating on Heather.
Sure.
Okay, first of all, I didn't even believe it. Like when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I buy that. But then they did that weird staged paparazzi shoot. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me.
It was so cringy because look, we've all seen paparazzi shoots. We've all seen people like coming out of a building, like, with a Starbucks, but this was literally Heather in front of Terry and Terry behind her, like back hugging her.
Oh.
and yeah, and then there was like another one of them coming out of another store, like holding hands. It was extremely staged.
Okay, hold on. They may not have seen the viral TikTok. There's a dude who does a TikTok that is hilarious, and he basically is in the background and he's showing all these like loser dudes doing the back hold from the back, like their woman is basically paying for something for them, and that's what loser dudes do to basically like keep the woman, so she keeps paying for shit for them. And he's like hunched over in the back, and he's got her around the waist, and she's there paying for the Carl's Jr.
Oh my God. So that it is. So Terry was doing that. Terry was doing the back hold. And so I didn't believe the rumors at all. But then they did that. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm wondering, like, is there some validity to it? It just felt very strange. But there was rumors that Heather and Tamra were in this huge feud, but then they go to BravoCon and they were fine.
They were fine.
I like that better. I don't like when there's a huge division in a cast because I prefer it to be nuanced. I prefer them to fight, make up, but not like, because when Vicki, Tamra, and Shannon were feuding for like 2 seasons, it's exhausting because then the whole cast is split.
You're exactly right. And I love when they just, like, New York ladies were really good at this. Fight, but then they always come together and have a good time because they are genuine friends. They're messy friends, but they're genuine. And they would actually come together, and I want to see them all tearing it up, being messy, getting drunk, taking their tops off. Woo,
yes.
I want to see all that. But when it's just like this division for so many seasons, or even throughout even like half a season, it's exhausting.
Agreed.
So exhausting. And I was worried with Salt Lake City current season, because it did seem like there were like all these sides these alliances had switched, and there's this side against that side. But now I'm seeing a little bit of coming together with episode 3 or 4 or whatever it was I just watched. So maybe but I'm with you on that. I don't like a big split or divide. It's exhausting, and it's not fun to watch after a while.
It just gets boring. And so I'm hoping that it's Shannon, Tamra, Heather as like a strong trio, at least just a strong dynamic, because I know that Gina and Emily are a bit weak. They're weak players.
They are.
And I know that Shannon didn't love Gina and Emily last season.
Right.
And I'm kind of hoping that this is their last season.
I would be on board with that. I have no ill will against them. I don't think either one's an asshole. I think they're actually good people. I liked their little alliance, and they would go out and have fun, but they don't have like fun. Like I don't know.
It's just not strong enough.
It's not strong enough. There's just not enough there. And gosh, watching Emily and her husband together is just like nails on a chalkboard when they go to dinner, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have another piece of bread."
I can't. And I'm tired of trying to pretend like Shane is nice. I know that like this always happens with when you get like the mean husband. You basically watch him for enough seasons that there's like the season where like Shane's not so bad.
Yeah, no, he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Stop it.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not a thing.
Dick. He's not nice. Dick. He's not cool. We're not fun. Stop talking about him like he's nice. He's a dick to her. He's ugly as hell. Okay. I'm going to say it.
Of course.
He's gross.
Yeah.
So, and if he did pass the bar, I don't even care. It took him too long anyway. Bye.
It took you too long anyway. And you deserve to go through that process on national TV and fail because you're such a dick.
You're such a dick. So
no
I don't need to see him anymore. And Gina, by the way, just from a like technical housewife standpoint, she pissed me off because she wasn't honest about her life for seasons. She wasn't honest about why she was getting divorced.
Yep.
And then what was it? Her third season, she finally talked about the affair. Then we did her talk about the abuse, but it was like we had to extract it out of her.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the rule, is you're supposed to talk about what's really going on.
Yes. In my Housewives University, that's like rule number 1. Rule number 1. I mean, rule number 2 is you better have don't crumble. If you get a pile on and these ladies come after you, you got to practice your reading skills, your read skills. But rule number 1 is we all have skeletons. Every single one of us have shit that we said or did or behave, something that we're not proud of. Just, you need to air it all out, and you need to come with it, because we are seasoned Bravo watchers. And with all this true crime genre popularity, we're all citizen sleuths. We're going to find you out. We're going to Google the shit out of you. We're going to go down that Reddit rabbit hole. And we're going to find this shit out about you, and we're going to bring it out. And it's worse when we bring it out and then you're playing defense.
Yeah.
Just put it out. Just put it out there. Put it out there right from the beginning.
So for me, also when Tamra was kind of coming for, when Tamra was off the show last year, she was kind of coming for Gina, which, by the way, Tamra can read a bitch. So
she sure can.
Tamra was reading a bitch, and Gina's comebacks, like for example, on Watch What Happens Live, which is live. So Andy reads off some of the tweets Tamra was tweeting. And so Gina had to think quick, which was not her forte apparently, because her comeback was stuttered and it didn't land. And it was so bad that Andy had his cue card. So Andy's got his cue card, and he was waiting for her to finish. But she was like, what I have to say, I have to say that, I mean, that I'm on the show. And Andy paused, like there was a moment of silence, and he went, okay.
So like, what can he do with that? And also, you really have high hopes from a Jersey girl. Is she a Jersey girl? She's from the East Coast, right?
Long Island.
Yeah. Okay. Long Island. Like you would hope, in my mind, in my fantasy, like the Long Island girls know how to read a bitch. but apparently not, especially an OC girl. Come on. Excuse me. I will put my money on a Long Island girl over an OC girl all day long when it comes to a reading contest. But it's Tamra Judge, and she will come with it. She's a little shit, but she'll come with it, and she will go low. She is not Michelle Obama at all. She will go low. When people go low, she will go lower.
Yeah.
So Gina's no match. Emily, no. Like there are only certain housewives that can, I mean, to me, she's not a very prominent housewife or like maybe one of the icons, but I'm telling you, Eva from Atlanta, because she could read Marlo. She read Marlo, and it was just so good. It was just, she put her right in her, she read Kenya.
You would have loved her on Ultimate Girls Trip too. Eva won everybody over. Like Eva, and I don't know if Eva even wants to come back, because Eva was so good that we were like, bring Eva back. And there were all these comments on Eva's posts after that, like, please come back. And I think she was responding like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and I don't blame her.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I like Eva. I actually saw her. I met her one time. I used to work at a bank in Beverly Hills, and she came in, had a couple stunning girls with her. And that's when I knew her. It was before she was on Housewives, but I knew her from America's Next Top Model.
She is beyond beautiful in real life.
So fun to look at. She is one of the most gorgeous housewives of all time.
Yeah. She is like one of those superhumans. I have to say something too, like anybody who went to BravoCon can attest to this, but living in LA, you see a lot of Bravo celebrities, but also celebrities, but Bravo celebrities in particular.
Sure.
There's a reason why they're cast on these shows. They are stunning. They glow. There's something about, I mean, half of them are like models / whatever the hell. That's why they're cast on these shows. They are beautiful. They like Barbies in real life.
They do. Oh, so Lisa Vanderpump, so that bank that I worked at was right down the street from one of Vanderpump's restaurants. We would go there for lunch all the time. She was there often. And I am telling you, and I don't remember how old she is. She's stunning in person. Stunning. You cannot stop staring at her. Stunning. Her skin, flawless. Her eyes sparkle. She's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous in person. It
takes your breath away. Like I saw all the Vanderpump Rules people when I went to the Tom Sandoval show, and Ariana will take your breath away.
Really?
And she's one of the nicest people too. She's just so genuine and sweet. Sheena, same thing. All the guys too, because we forget how tall these guys are.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's annoying, but it's psychological. When you see a tall guy, you're like, you're instantly hotter. It's like annoying.
I hate it.
It's annoying.
But it's true.
Like James Kennedy, when you see him in person, like on the show, you're like, you're a weasel. But then you see him in person, you're like, God damn it.
Yes.
He is hot.
I have to admit, my husband's 6'3" and I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Girl.
Mm-hmm,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't mean to brag, but
okay. But yeah, no, they are like Bravo celebrities in person. Tamra in person, I have not seen her in person, but every person that saw Tamra in person is like, she's gorgeous.
That's the thing is Tamra, she's not like the exotic gorgeous, but that bone structure, something about that bone structure is just hot.
Tamara's I've talked about this so many times, people probably think I'm like obsessed with her, but Tamara's my number one hottie on Housewives. Like she's just like, because she's just so naughty and like she's just so so fun and like she's just, and like her and Eddie, I'm just like,
oh yeah, she exudes sex appeal.
Ruffle it up with you. Yeah. I just love you guys.
Now I want to watch that show.
Oh hell yeah!
When you throuple it up with Eddie and Tamara, I am there for it.
And she'd be like, okay, like she's just such a little
so into it. Yeah,
she's just so funny, and I think also what I love about Tamra on Bravo is that Andy loves Tamra.
He sure does.
You can tell he respects the hell out of her. I remember one time he was messing with her. He was asking about her makeup. I don't know. Andy can be rude at the reunion.
So shady.
When he asks like, what work have you had done?
Oh, screw you, Andy.
I need him to take that out of the questioning because it's old. I can't remember what he asked her. He was saying something rude and she went, Andy, I don't ask you about your eye.
Oh, she gave it back to him.
She did. And he
Oh.
laughed though. And he went, you could. And I
Yeah.
thought only someone who only Tamra could have done that. Like that's a very fine line.
It is. And he accepts it from her, and she's allowed to be shady to him and like bitchy, a little bit bitchy. But you're right. Like, you do not see many housewives, because he asks questions and he's super judgy, and then he doubles down, and he asks shady questions, personal questions that maybe he shouldn't be asking. And man, these housewives really usually will not go after him because he's the boss and they want to keep their job. But Tamra would, and I respect that. Tamra holds many of the qualities that a good housewife should hold. She just does.
Yep.
Because a little bit of good, a little bit of bad.
When she was on Carlos King's podcast, it made it clear why she was so good, because she's also like a good producer.
Okay, tell me about that.
She understands what makes a good show. And she respects the hell out of the production side, the crew, obviously, but also like she understands what they need, and she'll never. That's why she was talking a lot of shit about Shannon. That's why she was so bitter that she was fired, and she's like, and Shannon's still there. And she was talking about the Jamaica trip, because she's like, Shannon would scream at the crew, rip off her mic, refuse to film.
I believe that.
Yeah. She's like, that's bullshit. You don't do that to the crew. The crew is working their asses off.
Yes.
You don't you know how hard it is to get back into audio and all that. And so she was going off. She's like, I never do that because I respect that this is a job that everyone is trying to do.
Love that.
I bleed out for this show. I show every single part of my life. I would never do that. I respect everybody on that crew. And so I was like, and that's what I've always been able to tell about Tamra.
I agree.
And she's always really nice whenever they go out to eat, she's always really nice to everybody at the restaurant.
Yes. And that is a huge thing for me. Bonus points. And it shouldn't be bonus points, because that's just being a decent human being. That's just decent. That's what you should do. But no, I appreciate her for that. Now, Heather Dubrow, on the other hand, according to Jeff Lewis, not so nice. Not so nice to the waitstaff.
When those things started to come out about her being mean to the crew and being mean to waitstaff, I was like, okay, now we're in trouble.
Don't like it. Don't love
like that
it
at all. Don't like that.
And that she allegedly pushed a producer.
Well, and then that's been basically confirmed.
Right. And I absolutely believe it. And that's icky.
It's been basically confirmed by too many people that it did happen.
Entitled much?
Proof that they really were like, this is all you. You're going to save the show. It's like, no.
She can't save the show.
That's
she
not
didn't
what you
save
do.
the show.
And when they sat down with the grid of casting, how did that make sense?
I have no idea. And I was so confused as to why they thought that Heather Dubrow would be the one. Tamra, sure. Heather Dubrow, no. She is not.
Heather, that Jen Armstrong lady, Noella, Shannon, Gina, and Emily.
You have all kinds of like background players. All kinds of background players. There is no leader in that group. Absolutely no leader in that group. They thought Heather was going to be the one, but she's not. She, like you said, she needs other cast members like Tamra to bring shit out of her to make her a better housewife on our TV screen. But yeah, she can't do it on her own.
I'm excited to see how this season plays out, because I do think that because Tamara's coming in and she's got to resolve it with Shannon. That's step one. And that is going to happen. We see that they were all arm in arm at BravoCon. Heather and Tamara have a very complicated, they were feuding prior to her starting. So there's that. So we've got Heather versus Tamara, Shannon versus Tamara versus Gina. They were feuding.
That is, there is no match there.
No
Gina,
match.
She is going to eat you alive. Girl, run.
Tamara versus Emily. Like Tamara's literally feuding with the entire cast coming in. So Tamara's got a busy schedule right off the top.
Yes.
But aren't you like secure in that you're like, Tamara's got it?
She's got it. She's got this. Tamara is a veteran. And she is a VIP, absolutely will carry the show, can carry the show. She'll mend it with some of them. She'll sort of mend it with the others, but like still be shady with them and kind of a bitch. And that's
because she's strong enough to coexist and just be like, hi, and then go have fun, get drunk, take her tits out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know, the whole Trace Amigas was so stupid to me. First of all, okay, I'm just going to say this about myself. Like in my own friend circle, like I know what it looks like to actually be real, like good time girls. Okay. Heather Gay, whether she is or isn't, I know what it's like to just go out with a group of girls. We're all wild. We're all crazy. We have so much fun that your cheeks hurt at the end of the night. We are getting shit faced for real and not doing it for likes and, you know, whatever on the shit. Like it's a real authentic good time. And we are real good time girls. I never bought for a second that Shannon and Vicki and Tamra were those good time girls whooping it up. First of all, I hate whooping it up, but
thank you. Oh my God.
It was all so calculated. The dancing on the bar, none of it was authentic. Like I have seen this shit play out in real life in its authenticity and it's glorious, right? They're not those people. Like it was just sort of a thing for the show to get people to be like, oh, they're the Trace Amigas.
Like when they were falling all over each other at the airport in Mexico. It's like, this isn't fun. It looks like you're just making a mess.
No, they are not Luann and Ramona and Sonia. They are not. Those. And now listen.
No, there you go.
Girl, that's authentic. Luann falling in the bush. Excuse me. That was real. That was real. And it was a good time. Luann waking up hungover as fuck with the glasses on. Don't be all uncool. Like, just be cool. Don't be all uncool. Those are iconic, authentic moments that the Real Housewives of OC can take a few tips from the New York ladies. Yeah, as problematic as they are. Now we could, you know, that's a whole nother show. You know, problematic as fuck, like really. But their good time girl act wasn't an act. They really are good time girls.
I agree with that. I agree that it felt very forced. I'm like, okay, I get it. You guys are going for this brand. Copy that.
Didn't work. I believe that each and every one of them on their own can get, and it's not to say that like getting shit faced authentically and acting a fool or messy is like the way to go, but like a little bit of that is, it is fun to watch when it's authentic. And I think that each of them on their own can get there. Maybe not Vicki, but like definitely Shannon and Tamra, definitely Shannon, which is like so funny to me because, you know, Shannon in her first season was like introduced as this, like, you know, kind of like Heather Dubrow, like very like, had a stick up her butt, you know, very like stiff and regimented and, you know, all this stuff, but girl can drink.
Yeah.
And she gets messy.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like, now she's the opposite of a Sonia. Sonia just is like, I'm wacky Sonia. I don't care. I don't apologize. I say the most inappropriate things and I act a fool. And that's who I am. But like Shannon will always tighten up when somebody brings up like, well, maybe you do consume a little too much, or like the alcoholic term gets thrown around. I mean, that's just not something she is comfortable with. But Shannon, she definitely changes a lot when she drinks. And that is the sign sometimes maybe you're a person who's not good at drinking. I don't necessarily think that everybody's an alcoholic.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, if their behavior changes a lot, like for the worse when they drink. But I know people like that in my own life. And the term that I always, or the phrase that I always say is like, you're just not good at drinking. Like it doesn't agree with you. It doesn't agree with you. So maybe you should try smoke some weed or something.
Switch up the substance.
To go take a bong rip. Are people still doing bong rips? I'm showing my age.
That's amazing. A bong rip. Ooh, that sounds fun.
Girl. I mean, it was back in the day.
Yeah, I haven't done a bong rip in a long time.
I haven't either. And I don't even know if I could hang. Like, I just really don't need that kind of head change at this point.
I remembered that just made me, I'll tell this story and then we'll wrap it up. I was in college And we had to go, this is when you had to like go to a dealer to buy weed. Like you couldn't go into a store, but the whole process of having to go to a dealer is that you had to like hang out with the dealer because like you didn't want to, like, as much as they knew what you were doing there, you had to like be like, hey, no, we're kind of friends. Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not just using you for your weed that I'm going to pay for.
Exactly. So we're like, he's like, so do you want to smoke? And you're like, sure. Okay. And this guy had such a big bong. And I was so like, oh fuck, I am not going to be able to handle that. But I'm like, okay, I can do it.
Yeah.
I coughed for a solid 5 minutes.
And that gets you even more high.
I was like,
fucked.
And then I had to walk back to the dorms. Thankfully, I was with my friend.
Zombie.
I was like, I'm not okay. And I cannot talk to anyone when we get back to like, if anyone tries to talk to me, you tell them I am not available.
Not available. Not available.
Like, of course, like everyone was in the hallway when we got back. And like, it was so bright.
Don't make eye contact. Do not make eye contact.
I distinctly remember, because he was also really stoned, but I distinctly remember my friend, because I had told him to say, I'm not available. And I remember my friend saying, she's not available. And I'm standing right next to him.
Like you're like a celebrity, like no pictures, please. Do not make direct eye contact like you're Tom Cruise.
We run into my dorm room and like shut the door.
But you're just really high and weird. Like there's those highs where you're just I'm too weird right now. I
couldn't like, and then I couldn't like smile because my cotton mouth was so bad. So and I was like, we were just like in my room, like we're safe. No one can come in here.
I freaking love that story, and I relate to it on so many levels. And I have my own. We'll have drinks sometime, and I can tell you about the time when I was 13, got my wisdom teeth pulled, so I was on Vicodin. Kids, don't do this at home. And I did a gravity bong. Gravity bong, girl, at 13 on Vicodin.
Oh no,
gravity bong. It was a ride. It was such a ride.
That was a ride. On that note, guys, don't we love Jami? We love Jami. She's the best.
Oh my God. I love you, your show, everybody who listens to your show. I automatically just love all of you.
Oh, you're the best. Okay. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yes. Okay. So I have 2 podcasts currently. One of them is called Murderish, and it's just like it sounds. It is a true crime podcast. There are well over 100 episodes to binge. And you can find me at Murderish Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, all those things. And my newest podcast is called Dirty Money Moves, Women in White Collar Crime. And it's about a woman I met about 4 years ago who turned out to be a prolific scam artist. She has ties to the Michael Jackson scandal. And we basically did a deep dive investigation on her, found out all this crazy stuff about her. That's Dirty Money Moves. You can find that at Dirty Money Moves on Instagram, TikTok, and that's where you can find me.
But also on Dirty Money Moves, you did some mini series too. She did a Jen Shaw one that is amazing.
Yes. So because of I mean, obviously I am a true crime content absorber, lover. But I am also somebody who is very into reality TV and Bravo. So like, it was so cool that I could bring my Bravo obsession into my true crime show. So yeah, you're right. We did a mini series on Jen Shaw. We did one on Gwen Shamblin. We're going to do another one that's on an MLM. So that's
the Jen Shaw one was so good because when listening to you do the recreation of the arrest at Beauty Lab was so good. So and there's some recordings in there that I hadn't heard, like some stuff about Stewart. So I highly recommend listening to that, guys. Highly recommend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Bye.